What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to do a prediction on a couple of the events we got going on. We got the UFC Long Island card, which I think is a great card, so I wanted to do a quick video for it. And also I wanted to give my prediction for what a lot of people are calling the kind of the biggest jiu-jitsu match in a while between Roger Gracie and Marcus Buchecha Almeida. So I'm just going to go through these picks real quick. To start off the Long Island, UFC Long Island card, we got Frankie Perez versus Chris Wade. It's actually a rematch from a fight they had in another organization. That's a lightweight match. A tough match. All these matches are tough. These are hard to pick. I think the UFC really put together a good fight card here. But in that first match, I'm going to go with Chris Wade by decision. In the second fight, we got another great fight between Shane Burgos and Godfredo Pepe. Pepe always has some real entertaining fights, so I'm really looking forward to seeing this one. And that's also in the featherweight division. I got Burgos by KO in the second round. Then next we got a heavyweight matchup between Tim Johnson, who always puts on a lot of good fights, and Junior Baby Albini, a guy coming over from Brazil making his UFC debut. Don't know much about the guy. Seems like he's probably pretty decent considering his record in Brazil in that competition. While we don't know any of the names or organizations besides maybe like Jungle Fight, we know it's tough down there. It's not easy to come up through those ranks either. So this is a tough one for me. I don't really know why I'm going with this guy, but I'm going to go with Baby Albina or Albini by KO first round. I'm calling a knee on this one. This guy seems like, I don't know, maybe he's got something to offer and something we might not see coming. So kind of going with Baby Albina by element of surprise. Next, we got another tough matchup. We got Brian Keller versus Marlin Cheeto Vera, a guy that I watched a lot on one of the, I think it was Ultimate Fighter South America or Latino America or something like that. But he's proven himself to be a pretty good fighter. He's going against Brian Keller, a guy who's on a bit of a hot streak right now, and I kind of like going with guys who are rolling. So in this matchup, two submission artists really, so it's hard to go with anything other than a submission. So I got Keller by submission, rear naked choke in the third round. Next we got Kyle Buschniak versus Jeremy Kennedy. Kennedy right now is an undefeated fighter. Looks good. Another tough matchup. Hard to call this one. Neither guy has a ton of experience, but I like going with the undefeated guys. So I got Kennedy via unanimous decision. Next, we got another fight in the heavyweight division between Damien Dabrowski and Chase Sherman. Sherman coming off of one of these fights that you just gotta call a slobber knocker, I think is what the word is for it. Tough to call. Sherman, I don't know. He didn't, even though he won that fight, I don't think he looked great. He's going against Grabowski, a guy who's been seemingly kind of on the down and out. Although it is heavyweight division, you never know what's going to happen in that division. It's just insane. But Grabowski's coming off 2 knockout losses, so I decided to go with Sherman by knockout in the first round. Next, we got an interesting matchup between Ryan LaFlare and Cowboy Olivera, a guy who kind of rubs people the wrong way, particularly with his what was it? He had a couple fights ago where he really was kind of a poor sport about the way he won. But these are two guys that kind of like to grind out people, and LaFlare is really kind of a guy that you don't want to get into that game with. So I'm going to go with LaFlare on this one. I got him winning via decision. That's in the welterweight division also. Then another fight. This might be the fight I'm looking forward to most because it has one of my favorite fighters on it, and that's Rafael Sapo Natal. Every single fight he has is a barn burner. It seems like every single fight is he really puts it all on the line, and he's going up against an undefeated fighter in Eric Yoboy Anders. He's debuting in the UFC. Really don't know almost anything about him. UFC must have a lot of confidence in him because he's going against Natal for his first fight. Man, that seems like a really tough fight for your first UFC fight. So, in that fight, I got Sapo via TKO in the third round. That fight's also in the middleweight division. Then at the top of the Fox prelim card, we got another really interesting fight. We got Lyman Good versus Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos, a Brazilian fighter. Both these guys like to throw down. Both of them are knockout artists, although neither one of them has been knocked out themselves. Both of them only have about 3 or 4 losses apiece. Lyman Good is really an exciting fighter. If you've never seen him fight, I think this is going to be the fight of the night, and I'm going with Lyman Good via split decision, just because I think this is going to be the fight to watch in my opinion. Then we go to the main card. We got kind of a battle of the sparkling records going at it, with Jimmie Rivera with 20 wins and one loss going against Thomas Almeida, a guy that's only got 1 loss as well, to go against 21 wins. Both these guys are super tough fights. Almeida is a total knockout artist. Hard to know who to go with this one. I'm a little suspect of Almeida's rise. He hasn't fought the level of competition that Rivera has. So this one was a tough one to go with, but I got Rivera by TKO round 2. It's hard to know what kind of adversity Almeida's willing to go against. The little bit of adversity that we saw him go through against Garbrandt, he didn't respond well. Rivera is a tough opponent. It seems like no one wants to fight him. I mean, the guy's record is crazy, and he's just not really. I think people are dodging him. That's the only answer I can come up with. But anyway, so I got Rivera in that fight. That's also in the bantamweight division. Next, we got an interesting fight between Jean Volante and Pat Cummins. Pat is actually from the area that I live in. I have a tough time ever picking against him. I know that's a stupid reason to be picking for somebody, but I don't got any money on these fights, so whatever. So I got Cummins by decision in that fight. Then we got the co-main event, another super interesting matchup between Dennis Bermudez and Darren Elkins. Hard to know where to go with this one. It seems like a tough matchup for Elkins on paper. However, I'm really not sure where Bermudez is coming off of that knockout loss against the Korean Zombie. Elkins, on the other hand, kind of a hot fighter on a decent win streak. So I just had to go with him based on that, not really knowing where Bermudez is at in his career, and Elkins kind of surging a bit. So I got Elkins by knockout round 2. That's also a featherweight division fight. Then in the main event, we got an interesting matchup between what's might be the hottest fighter in the middleweight division and the coldest fighter in the middleweight division. I'm talking about Chris Weidman versus I forget names here. Kelvin Gastelum. Tough fight to call. It seems like that size advantage is going to be really tough for Kelvin to overcome. And even though Weidman's on a 3-fight loss streak, he doesn't seem like, and all of them were by TKO or KO as well, but it doesn't seem like he's out of it. They were all tough fights versus the very top of the middleweight division. So I like going with the hometown guy in this fight. I like Chris Weidman's size advantage, and I think he's going to get it done. So I got Weidman via submission, rear naked choke in the third round. So those are my fight picks. Also coming live on Flow Grappling, we got the anticipated rematch between Roger Gracie and Marcus Buchecha Almeida from a Metamoris fight they did a few years back. I really got to give these guys credit for stepping up, and I think this is what jiu-jitsu needs. They need guys to step up and actually go against each other. You can't, if this sport is ever going to progress at all, you guys gotta start going against each other. I mean, this is ridiculous. So much anticipated. It's going to be, the first match was a sub-only contest. This one is going to be going by points. So maybe that gives Hodger a little bit of an edge, but I like Buchecha's youth, and I'm going to go with him via points. So those are my picks for the weekend. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm going to get back to you next week. I'm going to get back to you earlier, hopefully do a video by Thursday for the John Jones versus Daniel DC Cormier rematch, another just sick fight card. So I'm going to do another video for that. But until then, thanks for tuning in, and peace.